This is my 2023 Indian Pursuit Elite. I told you guys I was going to do a review on it, so let's do a review on it. Intro. Keep it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded. Better nice, I'm looking at the camera. Heading on, good, good, good. Preloaders, V.I.Preloaders, welcome back to the channel, guys. Always a pleasure to have you guys here with me, and you noticed by now, or at least you should. For those of you that are here for the first time, welcome to you as well. My name's Robert. I'm a retired NYPD Highway Patrol motorcycle lieutenant, and the name of this wonderful channel is Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle. This is one of my girls. This is my 2023 Indian Pursuit Elite, and her name is Gladiator, right? That's what my wife named her. My wife actually came up with about 6 different names, and that's the one that was accepted. So this is Gladiator. And because she has a name now, that means she's going to be in my garage for longer than I first anticipated. Okay, guys? So I want to get right to it. I want to go over the motorcycle with you guys. I've owned the motorcycle for a few weeks now. Put a few miles on it. I still need to do more as far as miles and actually going through the whole menu and learning how everything works. But I didn't want to make you guys wait any longer for a review. So I'm just going to go pretty much from the front of the motorcycle to the back and talk to you about things that I like about this motorcycle, some things that I'm not too crazy about. And I'm gonna let you know now, there's nothing about this motorcycle that is like a deal breaker. There's nothing perfect. I say that all the time in the practice sessions. I'm never out there looking for perfection, because if I were, I'd have to move out there and live out there and die out there, because it doesn't exist. So there's always gonna be pros and cons of everything that we do and everything that we purchase and stuff like that. And that includes the motorcycles too. So I got everything on the iPad right here because I want to make sure I don't forget anything, right? But the first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is the first thing you see, which is the appearance of this motorcycle. And it is, now again, this is subjective. There's some things I'm going to talk to you about that are subjective, and then there's some things that are just factual. But at the end of the day, I'm giving you my opinion, right? And because it's my motorcycle, it's really the only opinion that matters, right? So agree with it or not, here we go. I think the bike's beautiful. Right, I really think it's beautiful, and most people that look at it feel the same way. So this is, this is one of those examples where, like, I've seen some Chevy pickup trucks, Traveling Talls in particular, right? If I look at Traveling Talls pickup truck as he bought it stock versus the way it looks now, it looks like 2 different pickup trucks, and all he did was add some rims to it. So I say that to say, if you change the rims and the paint job on a motorcycle, it can actually change your opinion on how you view that motorcycle. And that was the case with me when I bought my 2021 CVO Road Glide. It was that paint and the rims that they did, the 21-inch rim in the front, it made me buy that bike. So I already liked the Pursuit. I already liked the way it looked, but not enough to pull the trigger. And then when this came out, oh my God, it's just stunning in my opinion. It's an eye turner, right? Because it's not something that you're going to see every day. The front fender and that little Indian, I don't know what you call it, the head. Not my favorite thing, but what I do like is that now it lights up. So listen, if you want me to like something, just put a light on it. And I'll like it. The more light, the better. And only light that you have on the front of this motorcycle is the headlight, and then the running lights around the headlight. So I think that's a nice touch. So I'll put that in. There's some things about this motorcycle that I almost have to put it in 2 categories, because am I crazy about that on the fender? No, I never was. But now that they put a light on it and they blacked it out so that it doesn't stand out as much, I can live with it. I can live with it. So I'll put it in the lights category. Okay, the rims. Again, I like the way these rims look. I like the way the rims look a lot. and the fact that they're going to be easy to clean because it's just a 5-spoke star, and even the spokes are like open in the middle. So that's appealing to me. Love the way these rims look. And I like the way they look when the bike is moving as well, right? It's just, you put those two things together, meaning the rim, the fender is a lower profile type fender. It just looks good to me. It's appealing to me. I like the fairing on this motorcycle. I like the lines that are in the fairing. I like the way the fairing looks from the front. I like the way it looks from the side. I like the angles. I've always liked the angle of the Challenger and the Pursuit. So that's not new. Definitely like this fairing. The headlight. Now this motorcycle came with an adaptive headlight, and I think it looks good. It's bright, and the front turn signals that are integrated into the fender. I like the way all of that looks. Again, all of that is the front of the motorcycle, and like I've already stated, I've always liked the way this motorcycle looks from the front. It has fog lights or driving lights, whatever you want to call them. Love that. Again, it's lights, so it's good. It's functional light, so I definitely appreciate that, and I like the way it looks. Okay, this motorcycle has inverted front forks, and as long as I'm going to talk about the inverted front forks, I'm going to talk about the suspension as a whole. And let me tell you guys, the suspension on this motorcycle is buttery smooth. Anytime I ride my motorcycles or anything down this driveway and I get to the end of the driveway, anytime I did a suspension upgrade on my other motorcycles, that's the first test always. I go down the driveway, boom, boom. And when I tell you, when this goes down there, it's like boom, boom. I mean, this just eats up the road. It eats up any imperfections in the road. It's just buttery, buttery smooth. Like when I'm trying to close the tour pack, like just pushing down on it, right? It's a softer suspension. So you feel that right away. It's an excellent job. I believe there's a monoshock in the rear. Just a great job. This motorcycle has a power windshield. So, I mean, that's not new to me. I had a 2018 Chieftain Limited, and it had that too, and it's still here. And I don't know too many people that wouldn't appreciate having an adjustable windshield on a motorcycle. Like, it's the best of both worlds. If you don't want a bunch of stuff hitting you in the face, you can raise it up. And in my case, this windshield is actually too high. So I'm just going to change it and get a lower windshield. But it's not like, you know, a fixed windshield where you got to go through that, man, do I get this? Do I get that? I know if I just get one a little bit lower, I'm good because I can keep it at the lowest setting. And if I need it higher, just raise it. And you can either raise it in small increments or just hit the button twice and it'll go all the way up automatically. So, and that came in handy for me because I was out riding this motorcycle and then it started to rain a little bit. I had on a half shell helmet and these glasses, and all I needed to do was raise the windshield a little bit, and then all of the water was kind of going over my head, and that saved me big time. Otherwise, I would have had to pull over. So that's definitely a huge, huge addition to these motorcycles, and you know, it's just a great job. I'm glad to have it. The infotainment screen, I like the infotainment screen because it's clear. The font is, you know, it's good looking. It's color, of course, and not to mention there's a bunch of stuff that you can do on it. All right, the control buttons, they're all lighted, and that's a good thing. So at night you don't have to worry about, especially if you're first learning the bike, which I'm doing. I would have to actually look at some of the buttons to see what they are before I press them, before my muscle memory takes over and I can just do it. But if I'm riding at night, I can look at them and actually be able to see them. So that's a good thing. The stereo system on this bike, there's a 6-speaker system. There's 2 speakers in the fairing, 2 speakers in the bags, and then there's 2 more speakers up here on the tour pack. And it's pretty loud, you know, and for a stock system, it doesn't have a ton of bass. None of them really do, which kind of doesn't make it a difference anyway. When you're out there on the highway riding, you're not going to really hear bass. But what you will hear is whatever you're playing on this stereo system. It's, you know, it's definitely a good system. It has an equalizer on it that you can change, so that's always good. Preset ones, and you can do an individual one. I love lower fairings on a motorcycle, and I love the lower fairings on this motorcycle. They look good. I love the angles of them. Like in the front of them, they don't just come straight down. They come down at an angle, and it matches the angle of the front of the motorcycle. So I definitely like that. And I didn't even notice that, but I was actually doing a video on the bike, and the angle that I was standing at, I was able to see it perfectly. And that's kind of what makes the front of the motorcycle, it adds to the appeal, in my opinion, of course, of the way it looks because of those lines and stuff like that. You know, I also love the fact that the lower fairings have storage in them, right? That's huge, right? The more storage, the better. So definitely a good job with that. There's vents in the front that you can open and close. So definitely a good job on the lower fairings. Okay guys, this next thing is just huge for me. The trickle charge port, right? The trickle charge port right up here under the fairing. Easy to open, easy to close. You don't have to get down, you don't have to look for anything, you don't have to remove anything to get to it. Just super, super convenient. So that's awesome. That's definitely awesome. And it looks clean, right? It looks clean. If you didn't know it was there, you would think there was a button to press, but they just did a good job with that. This motorcycle has a push to start, so you don't have to worry about holding down the button to start it. You press it, starts up. The seat that comes on this motorcycle, not only does it look good with the nice bronze colored stitching, the Indian logo stitched into the operator and the passenger seat, but it's actually comfortable too. Like, it's a comfortable seat. So, I mean, that's what most people want of a seat. They want a seat that looks good, but also you want it to be comfortable, and this is comfortable. For the amount of riding that I've done on it, it's comfortable. The engine. Now, yeah, we can look at this engine, and I think most of us can agree it looks good. It looks really good. But this bike is pretty fast too, right? It's fast. And even in the higher RPM ranges, you know, it'll still get up. So I felt that, and I appreciate that. So it's nice to have a touring bike. I'm not really into going ridiculous amounts of speeds on a touring bike. But if I need to go a certain speed, I want a motorcycle to be able to do it without struggling. And this delivers that. The gas tank on this motorcycle, it looks very nice. I love the shape of it. I like the fact that it comes narrow when it gets closer to me. And that's important for me because I have bad hips. So I can't have my legs opened wide for long periods of time. And the wider I have to open them, the worse it's going to feel. So, you know, this definitely helps. It definitely helps. And on top of that, the gas cap. So what I like about the gas cap is it's nothing to unscrew or anything like that. It's kind of seamless into the top of the gas tank and surrounded by some nice paint job, I might add. But it's lockable, and I appreciate that. Just with a button right here, it will unlock the gas tank. And then when you close it and start the bike, it will lock it automatically. So that's a good thing. You know, it's one of these things that I've never thought about it until I see it, and now I want it all the time because, yeah, I prefer my gas tank lock. The paint job on this bike is it's a beautiful paint job. It's more than one color, different tones, and every logo is painted on the motorcycle. So when I'm wiping my tank with a microfiber, I don't have to worry about snagging or anything. It's all painted. This motorcycle has remote locking saddlebags and the tour pack, and you can also lock it from buttons on the motorcycle, and that's always a good thing. It's definitely convenient to have. The tour pack that comes on this motorcycle is removable, and that's a good thing. Now, I've seen this motorcycle, I've seen the way it looks without the tour pack, and I'm not a fan, you know, so I won't be taking this tour pack off, most likely. I'm sure I won't. I like the way it looks with it, but the fact that I can take it off is a good thing. I like that. Inside of the tour pack, there's a 12-volt plug. So that's good if you want to charge batteries or whatever. It comes with all LED lights. It has large footboards, and it comes with passenger footboards. And those are pretty large too, so you're not going to be worrying about your feet sliding off or falling off. So you're not going to have to worry about your feet not being able to fit totally on the footboard, even with a heel-toe shifter, which I don't have yet, but it's coming. It's back-ordered. The kickstand, guys. I love the kickstand on this motorcycle because when you put the kickstand down, like the kickstand just goes down. So if I put it up, you hear that? You hear that? If I put it up, it's up. When I put it down, so that spring is aggressive. And I don't need a kickstand coaster on my driveway because there's rubber on the bottom of the kickstand, so it's not going to scrape up the concrete. So two things, that's good. This motorcycle comes with Brembo brakes, right? So the brakes are good on the motorcycle. And it has an actual brake pedal. And the reason I bring that up is there are some Indian motorcycles that the brake pedal is pretty much the same as the gear changer, which is that small rubber piece. I like to have a full pedal to use for my foot. So that way I have, you know what I mean? I feel better about having a whole pedal than that little thing. And now when it comes to riding this motorcycle, guys, it has a, let me see if I can explain this. It almost feels like it feels like a BMW K-Series motor, if you've ridden one of those motorcycles before. And what I'm referring to is it's kind of like higher up, right? The center of gravity is higher up. When you take the motorcycle off of the kickstand, it feels lighter, even though it's 914 pounds or something like that. But it doesn't feel like that when you take it off of the kickstand. And it feels good. It's a good feeling motorcycle. I understand why some people might feel a little bit apprehensive to do slow speed stuff on it, because you feel higher up. You just do. At least I did, right? But it feels good. It feels comfortable. It makes me feel like I want to keep riding, right? Which that happened to me a few times when I was riding it. It's definitely a comfortable motorcycle to ride. Of course, it could be more comfortable once I change out the bars and put some highway pegs on. I haven't done anything to the motorcycle yet. Stock, it's comfortable. Okay, so now let me talk about some things I'm not too crazy about with the motorcycle. And some of it is nitpicky stuff, but you know, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, if it even bothers me, I don't know if bothers is the right word, but if it's even a little bit of that, I'm going to talk to you about it. Okay, the switch housing is plastic, right? So, you know, not a big deal, but for longevity, I think I'd want this to be metal. The turn signal switch. Now, this could be a guy that doesn't have really large hands. It could be that could be a problem. But most people don't have really large hands. So the signal lights on this motorcycle are on the same side, which is the left side, right turn and left turn. So when I'm riding this motorcycle, my hand is on the grip. I can barely reach the signal light. Like I have to take my hand a little bit off of the grip to be able to manipulate the switch for the signal lights. And that's also true for the volume on the stereo system. Like especially if I'm holding in the clutch and at the same time I want to do either one of those two things, you know, it's not going to happen. And if I got the clutch pulled in, I don't want to be like moving my hand off of it a little bit to play around with a button and mistakenly, you know, let it fly out. So, you know, that's, again, a lot of this stuff is something that I'm sure I can get used to. You can get used to anything. I say that all the time. But I'm just going down the list of some of the things that not too crazy about. The throttle. Now, this is a big thing, and again, I'm going to have to live with this a little bit longer, but right now, based on today's review, the throttle has like a slight delay. And, you know, the kind of riding that I do, when I hit this throttle, I'm preloading the throttle, and I want to keep it loaded, but that initial preload, I need it to happen as soon as I twist. And it doesn't. Now, I did notice that it seems to be a little bit more responsive in standard mode than in sport mode. I have to kind of go back and forth and play with that a little bit to see. But the point is, it's not as responsive as I would like it to be. And that could be concerning sometimes. But again, you can get used to anything. So if I already know that, before I'm going to make a turn, I'll start twisting this throttle earlier than I'm accustomed to. And then I'm good. All right, guys. Now, this has a liquid-cooled engine, but it gets hot, like really hot, especially for a liquid-cooled engine. Like I was almost questioning, is this liquid-cooled? So, of course, that's an issue. Opening the vents will help you a little bit, but I'm telling you now, guys, it's hot. Like it's uncomfortably hot. And this is, I mean, I've heard this before, but now I've experienced it. Now, as nice looking as this seat is, and this is a touring motorcycle, it does not come with a backrest. And I just don't understand why you would make a motorcycle like this that's ready to go long distance with no backrest. But not only that, if I can order a backrest and it would be the exact match of this, then fine, I can live with that. But no, I can't. Like if I got a backrest from Indian, it would have to be like just a black one or something. And for you guys that are already accustomed to this channel and me, I couldn't live with that. Like there's no way. I'm not a long distance rider anyway, but if you were a long distance rider, you know, what this bike looks like, it becomes second when you're long distance riding. Your comfort becomes first. So if that's what you got to do, you have to put a black backrest on here to do what you got to do, then that's what you do. But you can put a backrest on it. My issue is it doesn't come with it, and it won't be something that matches this stitching. So they need to come up with, maybe it's in the works already, I don't know. But when they were coming out with the Elites, you got to make the backrest to match the Elite, right? And I was told that that's not available. The Tour Pack. Now the issue with the Tour Pack is it opens like the trunk on a car. And what I mean by that is it opens like this. If you ride by yourself, it's not a big deal. But even if you are by yourself, if you have luggage back here, or if you have a passenger, they'd have to get off the motorcycle. Or, let me see something. No, they'd have to get off the motorcycle. I was about to say maybe they can move all the way forward, but no, that's not going to work because it ends up all the way right here. So, you know, the Tour Pack opening like this is not advantageous if you have a passenger or luggage, period. I'm not really a big fan of what the pipes look like, and that's not a big deal because that's going to get changed anyway, just like it would on any of the motorcycles that I own. I'm also not crazy about the way the tour pack looks, and that's just, again, very subjective. It's a thinner tour pack. I prefer it to be a little bit wider and prefer it to come back a little bit more. You know, that's just my preference. It also has that antenna on there, aka the eye poker. Again, it's 2023. Any modern vehicle that you see on the road, you're not going to see an antenna sticking out of it. Everything is internal now. So I took that off. I am going to have to put one of those little shorty antennas on, even though I don't want to do that, but I prefer to look at that than just the empty hole where the antenna was. Also, this tour pack, you know, sometimes you got to fight with it to close it. Like, and I know sometimes it's the locking position of this button, but when I push it down, see? You got to give it some force. That's my point. It's not going to just be able to just close and a latch go on it. You have to force it down. But once it's down, you know, it's down. It's secure. I also don't like the fact that on the tour pack, it doesn't look finished. And I'm referring to these big gaps that are on the sides where the tour pack meets the backrest. And not only is it wide open, but I can actually see pieces of like unfinished plastic in there. So they could have definitely did a better job with that. And that carries over up here on the top as well. There's just a lot of gaps. And I'm wondering how that is as far as water is concerned. But, you know, also the lining of the tour pack it doesn't really look that quality. It's just I think it's just some stuff that they threw in there. So it's not that it doesn't have any lining, but it's just, this is the Elite. So I figured the lining should meet that standard. The lights that are on the back of the tour pack, I don't like the way they look because I just think they look dated because they're so thick and bulky. But other than that, the main issue is they're just running lights. Like they're not brake lights, they're not turn signals, just brake lights. And I think that's a missed opportunity to put some more light back there, especially for the brakes. Even if you weren't going to do the signal, why not brake lights? I also don't like the fact that the rear lights back here, they're not available in like a smoked lens, and that's what I would like to do. Again, that's a small thing, not a big deal. The handlebars. Now these are actually the upgraded handlebars that come on the Elite model. The lower models, there's actually a shorter handlebar. But even with these handlebars that come out more, they're still too far away from me, and I'm 6'1". So I am going to be changing these because it's important that when I turn this motorcycle to the right, I need to be able to feel that clutch comfortably. And that's just not happening with these. It's too far of a reach, right? Again, this is a Preloader Nation problem. Most motorcycle riders ride straight and make slight turns, so that's probably not going to be a big deal to them. But if you really want to maneuver this motorcycle, yeah, I need higher bars, and in this case, longer bars. The other issue is you don't have a lot of play when it comes to the handlebars. So even if I adjust these, you're not going to have a lot of movement like this. So it's kind of like boom, 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 boom. That's all you're going to get. So you're not going to really get handlebars that come up like this, unless you get some that curve out and up. But the important thing is to get them closer to you. Engine guards. You guys know I swear by engine guards. You got to have them. But on this bike, the engine guards, they're not going to really protect the lowers, right? They're not. They don't extend out far enough past the lowers to actually protect them. So that's an issue. The turning radius of this motorcycle, it does not turn as much as I'm accustomed to it to turn. Again, not a big deal, just something I have to get used to. But it's something to take note of. If you're accustomed to being able to turn your handlebars this far on this motorcycle, it's going to turn this far. So if you're coming from a sport bike, you'll think, oh my God, this thing turns beautifully. But, all right. And lastly, guys, one of the biggest hangups I have about this motorcycle is I can't use a conventional motorcycle jack to jack this motorcycle up. Now, I'm accustomed to being able to put a motorcycle jack under the motorcycle and pick the motorcycle up about this high. And then that way I don't change oil on the motorcycle, but if I wanted to, that's what I would use to do that. But I used the jack to clean the wheels and clean the pipes and anything I want to clean that's low because I don't want to be laying on the ground. But with this motorcycle, I don't know why. I don't know if it was an afterthought. I don't know how they could not think that people may want to jack this bike up. And if you want to do it, I was told you got to get like a small bottle or some kind of jack, and you got to use a 2x4 or there's an adapter. And even with those, the people at Indian were telling me you would do that if you want to jack up the back of the motorcycle or the front of the motorcycle. But I was like, no, I want to lift the whole bike. And they were like, no, you need one of those things you roll on. And I don't have room for that in my garage, so that's an issue. All right, guys, so I'm going to finish the video here in the garage because it started to rain outside. So my final thoughts on this motorcycle, well, you already know her name's Gladiator, so she's going to stay for a while. How long? We'll see. I'm going to give you guys future reviews on this motorcycle as I own it longer and ride it and customize it. I got a lot of plans on different things I'm going to customize. I already told you, new handlebars. Of course, I'm going to throw some Tab Performance pipes on it, and some custom dynamics lights. Definitely, that's another downfall of this motorcycle. The aftermarket stuff is kind of limited, so the amount of custom dynamics lights that I can do is limited. The Tab Performance that I can put on it is limited. But again, none of that stuff is a deal breaker. It's a great motorcycle, definitely comfortable to ride. And I want you to stay tuned, guys, because I'm going to be doing another video comparing this motorcycle to Violet. Violet's my 2021 CVO Limited. And I think that's more of an apples to apples comparison because both of those motorcycles are touring type motorcycles. Technically, all of the baggers are touring motorcycles, but the limited model touring motorcycle, just like this one, comes with the tour pack. So it's already ready to go long distance riding. So I'm gonna do a comparison on those. And then I'm gonna do another video comparing this motorcycle to, I'm not gonna say the name of her yet, I'll say it when I do a video for her. But for my 2023 Harley-Davidson CVO Road Glide, I'm gonna do a video comparing those two. Again, not really apples to apples, but a lot of similarities, especially since now Harley-Davidson has changed a bunch of stuff on these new 2023 CVOs. All right, guys. And then, of course, you're going to see me do a video on this, just specifically talking about how it handles slow speed. I already told you that the front handlebars don't turn as much. But other than that, the rules don't change, guys. I say that all the time. Clutch, throttle, rear brake, head knives. Preload the throttle and keep it loaded, and you'll be fine. If you asked me, hey, should I buy one of these? My response would be, go ride it. And then that'll answer it for you, right? I mean, that would answer it for you because we're all different. But I think it's a very good, very nice motorcycle, very comfortable to ride. It's good looking and it's price right. So, the price is not bad either. So you put all those things together, but guys, I'm gonna be doing a video about that as well. It's gonna be a good one. I'm just comparing Indian to Harley-Davidson, period. And we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about why we choose what we choose in that video. I'm looking forward to doing that video. All right, guys, if you like this video or any of the videos that I put out, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share the videos, and hit that notification bell, and click it to all so you'll always be notified whenever I'm coming out with a new video. I'm going to be doing a playlist just for this motorcycle, so every video that I do pertaining to it, you can find it very easily. Guys, spend more time being thankful for the things that you have and less time complaining about the things that you don't. Seat time doesn't equal practice time, and if you have time to ride your motorcycle, you have time to practice on it. Until next time.